like, okay, I gotta do it with the I-brain again. Sunday, February 7th, 2010. Sun Life Stadium in Miami. Second half kickoff. Onside, Saints recover. And I still want to renumber 31-32, 31-17. Because if we renumber it with the score of Super Bowl 44, it might get built. Thank you. Have a seat.
Is my microphone on?
Yes.
And there's $1 million allotted for street repairs. What would you do to get that done quickly? And number two, would the street repairs be done by city employees or would they be done by bids?
Okay, if I had $1 million to start the street repairs, I know that would not be nearly enough. However, we would actually use a tool that the city has already purchased to see where the worst streets are in our city. And I did visit with some of the people from our city, and they indicated to me that that process has already occurred. I will start with the worst streets, and I will look at who is the best for the job. If city employees has a demonstrated performance of providing quality streets replacement and repair, I'd use them. However, if they did not have that record of performance, I would go out and do an RFP to get the best person for the streets, because our citizens deserve the very best streets that we can provide for them. Thank you.
For $1 million on the streets, first I would have to work with streets and drainage to collaborate what they're doing. Because sometimes you go in and tear up a street and you have a water problem under there. So those are things you have to do. First, collaborate with that. But what I would do, I would focus on preventive maintenance first. Because you can't let a street deteriorate, then you're gonna actually pay more for those things. With that $1 million, I'll put a program together first, working with streets and drainage, so we collaborate our efforts, and then put a maintenance program together so our streets won't deteriorate even further, where we have more problems with them. So that's what I do with the $1 million aspect of it. Thank you.
If I can find it. I have to do one at a time. Let me get to be my age. We have $1 million allocated to streets. What would you do to get that done faster? And would you use city employees to do it, or would you contract it out?
Thank you for that question. First off, our streets. From Willow Point Drive, which is one of our higher tax bases, we have a terrible street full of holes all the way out to MLK. Sad to see our street system. But when you're dealing with streets, as a contractor, I'll tell you this. As mayor, I need to get out of that chair and go out there and see what that wet cylinder shows on the test. If it does, a wet cylinder is what you take when you're pouring, and a drying cylinder is at the end. If it doesn't fit the PSI test, it needs to be stripped and done again. The city employees do a fine job of doing our streets. The problem comes in when you do an outside source employer contractor with them, and they make more an hour than your city employees when you're doing the same job. It lowers the morale of your city employees. And I encourage you, September the 30th, the Shreveport Chamber of Commerce, when I did my video interview with them, I found a way to get them raises without costing us a dime. I'm the only one that found it. Thank you.
In all honesty, ladies and gentlemen, you're not going to be able to do much with $1 million for street repairs. It costs a lot of money to repair streets. That's one of the reasons I introduced legislation that established a street special revenue fund, and we collect $6 million a year annually for street repairs. If all I had was $1 million, more than likely, I would use that money for emergency street repairs to be done by city employees.
Okay, this time I'm going to have to use my full minute because I'm not going to agree with Sam on this one. 5 years ago, I was called in by the City Council on a recommendation for a pavement management system that Ms. Tyler referred to. I told them they were putting the cart before the horse because they didn't have a lot of other geographic information systems at that time, but they did go ahead and purchase this pavement management system, which they are using. If you saw the televised forum, I said you can pave the roads with kryptonite and it's still going to fail because it is a substructure issue. So currently we spend $5 million in our annual budget repairing roads that are going to continue to fail. I like the idea of $1 million because we need a comprehensive plan. With the $1 million, I would put together the old-timey pothole repair crew to go out there and do the pothole repairs so that then the comprehensive solution can address the water and sewer issue that is substructural.
Yes, sir. Concerning the streets of the city of Shreveport, you're talking about $1 million, and I know I heard comments as far as $1 million not being enough or not being a lot of money. But the Bible says you be faithful over a few things. He'll make you rule over many. And I just believe that we stretch our dollars as far as we can stretch, and we can be able to do as much as we can do in the city of Shreveport. And citizens don't take this in the wrong way, but it's just real. All over the city of Shreveport, from Lyon Avenue back this way, streets look pretty good. But from Lyon Avenue back towards the state line, they're pretty ragged. And I promised the city of Shreveport once I become mayor, not only will everything that you walk on be blacktop, but everything you drive on will be blacktop, so everybody can live the same in the city of Shreveport. Because once I become mayor, it won't be no low class, middle class, or high class. Everybody will be in the same class. Thank you.
But has everybody's answered that question? We have two questions that are directed to specific candidates. This is to Mr. Williams. You've been accused of double dipping. How do you respond to that?
Well, I can respond to this in this way. There's nothing unethical or illegal. The Diaz looked at this, but Econo looked at this. And this is something that I would imagine the legislature is going to look at this next session. But when you look at it, you have to look at exactly what the causes are or what they're spelling out. So double dipping is nothing that I've done. I've actually followed the rules. And if there's anything that was not in line, work with the accountant and put everything back in place.
This one is to Ms. Tyler. When you were the head of the school system, a number of the schools in Canada were failing. What makes you believe that you are qualified to be the mayor?
Okay, when I became superintendent of California schools, we had 4 failing schools the first year I came in. After the first year, putting in place a plan for a turnaround, we were able to eliminate all failing schools but one. We came in at a time when there was a financial crisis, and of course we had to reduce staff by 300 people. At the end of my 4 years, we grew our reserves from $4 million to $36 million. And every year we celebrated increase in academic performance. In fact, in 2007, because of the significant progress, I was named Superintendent of the Year for the state of Louisiana. So I can tell you that we grew academically and financially each year.
Okay, we need to lighten up a little bit. Here's one. The money received from the Red River Waterway Commission using its Caddo Parish funding for a riverfront dog park that's been controversial for the current mayor. This has been granted and accepted by the mayor and is in the process of being designed with help raised from money raised by the Shreveport Dog Park Alliance. What is your stance on the subject and how aggressively will you move forward on the project? Please, Patrick. Am I wrong?
Unless you want to count the one that asked first already.
Yeah.
This is a project that's already been approved. I'm going to actually work with the dog park committee to actually follow it through. There's nothing that I can do to add to this particular project because it's already underway. Thank you.
Yes, okay. Same question. Dog park.
The dog park. Okay. I love Labradors. I love my dogs. And I think the dog park is a fine idea for cities. It's one of the things that helps cities grow to become and attract people that come in. I'm certainly not against it, but, and I was speaking with an attorney after my last forum about it, should a pit bull come in there with chains around it and eat up some folks or some dogs, please don't come after the city with the liability. We don't need that kind of exposure. As long as the individuals are responsible, I think it's wonderful. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you.
As a member of the council, I supported the dog park initiative. If I'm elected mayor, it is a project that I would like to see through to completion. One of the reasons I supported it is because it was a citizen-driven initiative. And we ask our citizens to come down and support a lot of the decisions we make. And I think when we have those opportunities to support some of the suggestions and recommendations that they're making, we should take advantage of it.
In the interest of full disclosure, I am a member of the Dog Park Alliance. I joined the Dog Park Alliance because as a small business owner in the high-tech field, it was very difficult for me to attract what's called the sweet spot of employees between the ages of 25 and 35 to Shreveport. And one of the things that you need to understand is dogs don't drive themselves to dog parks. Dog parks are an economic development amenity that we can provide to our citizens. As much as skate parks aren't for skateboards, they're for driving people to that community. And a lot of tech people look at these types of amenities, including walkable and bikeable cities, so that we can have a progressive 21st century. So that's why I joined the dog park and will be so delighted to stand there with my Dog Park Alliance buddies and cut that ribbon when it's finally done. Thank you.
Yes, concerning the dog park. To make a long story short, I have a dog. And I greatly support the dog park, whether people like what I'm saying or not. I greatly support it. And if I was in charge of it, it's already been done. So whenever I become mayor, bring all the dogs to the park, you ready?
The dog park issue has been resolved, and as mayor of our city, I will simply ensure that we implement what has been passed to ensure that dog lovers, and I'm a pet lover, I don't have a dog, but I am a pet lover. I used to have dogs. My life got so busy I could not maintain, and I think they need to have someone who's very caring and there for them. So I will expedite the process to ensure. I know that throughout the nation, dog parks have been embraced by our citizens because it's one of those things that actually helps with quality of life. So I support it, and I will expedite the process to make sure it happens.
back to this opportunity. Every candidate has advisors. Would you name your top 3 advisors?
Mine's a little different concept. And the reason is, everybody on this panel is taking contributions from good old boys and the wealthy guys and the wealthy women who want to run our city and want all their favors that they are putting them in the chair to do. That's the reason I'm running. I haven't taken the first dollar contribution. I'm self-funding it myself. Because I'm self-funding it, I'm not paying a lot of staff and campaign workers and advisors, because I've lived here 50 years. I've watched what happened to our city. I have advised myself to look and put our city back to what it used to be. And also, I love the dog park, but we need a park for our kids too. Thank you.
I rely a lot on the 8 years of experience that I've gained as being a member of the Cattle Parish Commission and a member of the Shreveport City Council. I am pleased to be running a community-oriented campaign. I'm not a part of anybody's camp, not a part of anybody's political machine. I'm in the race for the people. I have approximately 130 different volunteers who work in their communities and in their circles of influence to assist us with this campaign. That is the way I'm running it. That's the way we're managing it.
I too ran a grassroots campaign, but I'm very grateful that people have just jumped on this train and the donations are pouring in, so I'm not turning them down. I am making sure that they understand that they're going to get a vibrant and prosperous city in return. So when there's, $5 donations that come in every day, and there's been very large donations that come in every day. And so my advisors are a group that we call #Team Shreveport. We are running what's called a Web 2.0 campaign because I want to bring Shreveport into the 21st century. So I'm asking you and driving you to my webpage. So come join #Team Shreveport, and we are using a lot of leveraging technology to drive the strategy of our campaign so that we can serve you, our citizens, the best way possible.
Yes, as far as appointing anyone for any position, people of Shreveport might not like this, but when I become mayor, when I say that God called me Shreveport to be mayor, that's exactly what he meant. Shreveport is going to be new. In order to be able to be in any position, you're going to have to start all over again. We're going to get rid of the entire administration. The entire administration, we're starting all over. And the people that are qualified that is already in that position may be able to get that job back. But when I become mayor, you're going to definitely have to be qualified to have any position in the city of Shreveport, because that's the only way that the city of Shreveport is going to build back up, because we're going to have enough of tearing down. Because some of the wrong people are in the wrong positions and are not educated, just like myself as far as politics is concerned right now. But we're on our way back. Thank you.
Madam Secretary, can you please repeat the question?
I asked you to name your top 3 advisors on your campaign.
I have a broad-based campaign committee, and they are from across, so I don't have any top 3. My campaign consists of individuals throughout this community. I have people who are business leaders, people who are entrepreneurs, people who are nonprofit type people, but they don't work directly with my campaign. But I have people that have embraced me. Some donate $5, $10, up to the max. Let me be clear. I am my own candidate, and I will not be controlled by anyone. I will hire my own staff, and I will be accountable to the people of this city only. So I am running a grassroots effort. I think I have great support because of my experience as a CEO, somebody who has proven experience as a business leader. Thank you.
My top 3 advisors are, and they're definitely in this order, my God, my wife, and me. Thank you.
Mr. Jenkins, your turn. Okay, it's no secret that white flight is a problem. What is your potential solution for that?
We must continue to address the issues of our older, more core neighborhoods. I think that we need to work very diligently on making sure that we've got a good mix of affordable income housing in these areas. I think it brings people back together into the neighborhoods. I think the more we begin to live around one another and with one another and work with one another on ideas of building up and populating our areas, the more we're going to see people willing to stay in those core areas. The sprawl is where people are living or moving outside of our urban areas and going into the suburbs. We've got to put attractions inside the urban areas to bring people back in. And I believe that you will bring people from all walks of life back together if you have those elements in there. Affordable housing, sustainable communities, and quality of life type issues that people would be interested in participating.
This is one of the most serious issues that Shreveport is facing. And I'm actually going to re-term it as economic flight, because while the majority of the people that are fleeing our city are white, there are also people of all races that are leaving because they have the economic means to do so. It's very easy to jump across the river and educate your children over there, come across the river to work Monday through Friday. So if you look at our website and our plans for developing Shreveport, there's 2 major platform issues that we have here. One is complete and open transparency for our government, cleaning up our contracting process, and restoring true value for the dollars that our taxpayers pay in. We have to run the city like a business, and the same old method is not working. Thank you.
Yes, concerning the issue about the black and white situation you're talking about, what we need to do as far as a city of Shreveport, we need to start or learn to be a family, whether you're black, whether you're white. And the first commandment of God says to love one another. And we've got way away from that. If you notice, there's way too much crime going on right now. Blacks killing whites, whites killing blacks, etc. But if we learn to do exactly what the Bible says, and I know this is politics and this is not the Bible, but God made everything. He made everything. I mean, the sun, moon, the lights, everything. If we learn to start doing exactly what the Bible says to do, then this will be not only a much better city, but a much better country. So let's start to love one another, whether you're black, white, green, don't matter what color you may be. Let's learn to love one another so we can be a better Shreveport and a better family. Thank you.
I believe that if we are to truly keep people within our city, and if we are to address the issues, be they in the urban areas or downtown, we're going to have to be transparent in our operations. We're going to also have to have integrity in our city government. And we're going to have to engage people across this community. And I think that if people have a voice about what's wrong, how we can make it better, we can come together. In the 2030 master plan, there are so many wonderful ideas. We paid $1 million for that master plan, and I have not seen yet much implementation. But I'm about implementing, I'm a leader of action, And my record shows that I know how to inspire and be inspired by people from all walks of life. So I plan to unite us around the vision and to move ahead with this city.
White flight. This is a major issue, no matter what you call it, out-migration, white flight. It's serious, and that's something that we have to acknowledge. You know why? Because once people leave, the tax base gets smaller, but your amount that you pay gets lower, gets more, because the number of streets, they don't decrease. The amount that you have to do for your infrastructure, that doesn't decrease. The water, that's the same. And so white flight, out-migration is serious. That's why you need someone that can bring in some good paying jobs, to bring your kids back home, to bring people back to the city. And that's what I will do. I will be a job creator. So white flight, out-migration is a serious issue for the city. Thank you.
White flight, or a good part of our tax base, has helped people Stonewall, Houghton, Bossier, Belcher. Yes, it's white flight. The only way we're going to have that tax base back is to bring in the distribution companies, put in I-49 and 3132, where the jobs are here. I'm not talking about $7, $8, $9 an hour job. I'm talking about entry level, $37,000 without college plus benefits, and on up at my level, $100,000, $120,000 job. They'll come in. The tax base will come here and shop and eat with us. They may not move back in, but I think at some point they will. But we have to get the perceivement. The last forum, everybody said how safe Shreveport is. The perception of my constituents is that we are not safe. And until we change that and get our policemen the correct pay with our firemen, we are not going to have that perception taken care of. Thank you.
Mr. Benson, how will your administration be different from that of Mayor Glover's?
Well, I like Mayor Glover. But my administration will be very different because we're very different people. Our experiences and our background is very different. I come from a perspective of having a product to deliver or I'm not sustainable. I don't have a printing press. I have a limited amount of funds as a business owner to be able to produce a product of the best value for my clients. And I've consistently done that and have gained my personal reputation by doing that. So how I will be significantly different is we will open the complete government to open transparency, and the biggest issue is we will bring Shreveport into the 21st century.
How will my administration be different than Mayor Glover's administration? First of all, once again, the administration, when I'm in there, in my first year, first of all, like I said, I would not even receive a salary because I'm going to donate my first year's salary back to the city of Shreveport just to show the city of Shreveport how much I really know. Secondly, the ones that people throw away for a job are concerned, as far as convicted felons, want to make sure that they be able to work not only as entrepreneurs, but to be able to come in and maybe actually work in the mayor's office. A lot of people put convicted felons down all over the city, all over the world, and they are considered the less fortunate. But once I become mayor, not will they be less fortunate, but they will be fortunate, as well as get rid of the homeless shelter situation. Once I become mayor, there won't be any more homeless. Everybody will have somewhere to stay. Thank you.
My response is that I believe that Mayor Glover is a fine gentleman, but we do have distinct differences probably in our management and leadership styles. I am more of a hands-on type manager, and I will ensure that transparency occurs. I will also ensure that implementation of projects that have been approved will occur their timely. And I will ensure that the citizens of Shreveport are very involved in the decision-making process. So we do have different and very distinct styles of leadership and management.
Mayor Glover has done the job that he could do. But when I come in, I'll be a leader. I'm going to return calls. I'm going to build the morale of the city. I'm going to grow this city. It's not just about managing, but it's about growing. It's about actually reaching out, returning calls. The city is going to be open for business. I've been working with industry that wants to come here and they want to talk. That's what it's all about. Opening up, talking, and leading. That's what Shreveport needs, a leader. And that's what I'll do when I come in office. Thank you.
I believe Doug has tried. He's done a few things. In my opinion, I think Keith Hightower put him in. I think he's working with you, isn't he, Patrick? But what we need is a city. We've got way too many secretaries and assistants and voicemails. When you call the mayor's office and I'm in there, you'll have me. I'm your mayor. I'm your employee. I'm your spokesperson. I'm there for you. Anybody knows Ernie McGrady, who used to head up streets and sewers? Ask him if he knows my name. Been working with him almost a year and a half of any citizen that is having a flooding problem or a street problem. It's no different when I'm in the mayor's office. I've been doing it for a good while. But also, we don't need asphalt to cover up our holes in our streets. We need to make our property look better with cement as it was. But there's a whole lot more to it. Better management styles. Thank you.
I would like to see us take a more comprehensive approach to economic development. That's one of the reasons why I feel like we need to have a director, someone who can overlook the daily management of that area. This city is much too large not to have someone in charge of economic development, the creation of jobs, the retaining of jobs, and educating our workforce. Secondly, I want a city hall that would be responsive to people. That is one of the reasons I'm saying we need to establish a central call center where we can get your concerns, your complaints in and manage them and get some resolution. And then finally, I want a working relationship with other governmental entities, be it the parish, the Red River Waterway Commission, be it citizen organizations. I want to be certain that we're working together, sharing the vision, and sharing the resources.
Robert, the Harrelson landfill has been controversial. Have you supported this facility in the past, and how would you deal with it in the future?
To be honest, sir, I have no idea about the landfill situation. All I know is a young man by the name of Mr. Harrison owns it. I know it's up on the Cooper Road area where people hate where it's at. And as far as any type of input, I don't have any input on it because I have no idea, no information on it. Because once I become mayor, I'm going to be able to start the day that I become mayor, handle different situations the way they need to be handled. As far as the landfill situation, I have no input on it. Thank you.
Okay, in terms of the landfill controversy, I have been reading and trying to keep up with some of the issues surrounding that landfill, and I believe that there is an opportunity to get it resolved, and there is already an attempt for our city to make that happen. I feel that if there is, and from what I've been reading and researching, there is some health issues involved, and I think we need to expedite the process to at least get a handle on it and get it closed.
This issue has actually already been resolved. Working with the community at MLK, along with Senator Carver and DQ, the landfill is closed. And so we're just going to continue to work with those individuals to make sure that the aftermath and that they follow through with the program that they have to actually clean up that program. And I guess Ms. Opina really don't know the relationship that Mayor Glover and I have. So maybe you can check that one out. Thank you.
Ms. Opina.
The last 3 administrations, there's been difficulty regarding landfills and dumps and that kind of thing. And I know that some of it has been resolved. But please realize in a very short time, the EPA will be fining the city of Shreveport because we are in non-compliance for our water and sewer, $37,000 a day. Put your worries where they need to be. And that's your in violation of your water system. Your landfills will take care of itself. Thank you.
Let me apologize, Mayor. I didn't, what exactly were you
It's
asking?
about the Harrelson landfill. Oh, I'm sorry. This is about the Harrelson landfill. It's been controversial. Have you supported it in the past? And what would you do to resolve that issue?
Well, the Harrison landfill is certainly not anything that I supported at any stage. And had I been in a position to make any decision about that landfill, I would have not supported it. I do not think that it should be that close to a residential area. I hope going forward, our Uniform Development Code, as well as other zoning regulations, will address these issues before they become a problem. I do think people need to look at the history of how the landfill was established there and who did support it, who did open the door for that landfill to be there, whose name is involved in the fact that you have a landfill operating in an area like that that is causing problems. And then going forward, I would think it would be a good idea to follow up on any health-related issues in the community.
I need a blood pressure cuff. I'm a geologist. I managed 17 Superfund sites for ARCO back in the day, in the mid-'80s. And I volunteered as a technical advisor for I live in North Highlands, MLK is a neighborhood. We all breathe the same air. So I have been very involved in all the meetings that have been around the Harrelson landfill, working with the attorneys. Senator Greg Tarver has hosted several meetings, as well as Mayor Glover. And the issue it is a C&D, which is construction and debris landfill. That was what DEQ, who was one of my customers, dropped the ball. Jurisdiction has now been handed over to EPA, and I am running out of time. I have a significant amount of information on this. I have a comprehensive solution to this issue that involves the I-49 intercity connector, as well as our water and sewer, because we're looking at potential groundwater contamination. Thank you.
Let's see. Ms. Tyler, the Broadmoor Arts Center has fallen into disrepair. There's been a lot of discussion about what we should do with the Broadmoor Arts Center. Do you have any plans for that?
For the Broadmoor Center, I'm sorry.
The Broadmoor Center.
I'm sorry, say again, Broadmoor Center?
The Broadmoor Center on the riverfront.
Okay, for the Broadmoor Center, haven't had a chance to think about it, but I used to visit the Broadmoor Center in my work here with young people, and I believe that it is a very valuable piece of property, and probably we need to look at how we can repurpose or even revitalize the Broadmoor Center. I think it is something that is a showcase for our city, and so as mayor of the city, I will work diligently to try to restore, repurpose, or revitalize that particular facility.
When?
Yeah, actually, that was the travesty that position, that building fell in that position. I mean, it's too valuable, it's too important to downtown to let it even get to that position. So as mayor, I'm going to work with some public-private partnership to probably put that back into commerce. I remember we took our high school pictures in that particular building. So that is something that's actually something important. And so, again, I'm going to work with some public-private partnerships to put that piece of property back in Columbus, the Stewart Park. Thank you.
Okay, now.
The Barnwell has always been a vital part of our city. One of my people that I admire is Eleanor Roosevelt. And she was not the most attractive person in the world, but she cared about her community. Back in the WPA days, I think we ought to look at those examples. We could hire young people, give them a stipend amount, let them go clean up the yard around Barnwell and revitalize it. Gives us young people a little bit of money, especially the ones that are having trouble trying to find a job, which is really what WPA was all about. And it can be revitalized very inexpensively, and I hope that it will be. Thank you.
I too would like to keep and preserve the Barnwell Center. We have a lot of initiatives that are going on downtown, a lot of projects that we need to see through to completion. I believe the Barnwell Center certainly will complement a lot of the projects that we're doing down there. So certainly it's something that I would like for us to keep and preserve and make sure it remains a vital part of our downtown scene.
Okay, time to put the blood pressure cuff on. I also took art lessons at the Barnwell Center. How many people here are friends of the Barnwell Center? Is there anyone? Okay, it was my understanding that you volunteered to run a garden hose into the facility in the Arboretum to keep the plants alive. Is that correct? And you were turned away. Okay. Corporations had a regulation called Sarbanes-Oxley. Who's familiar with that? Thank you. They're responsible for that, and there's criminal penalties for CEOs that don't comply with those issues. In government accountability standards, there's a GASB 34. It's GASB 34. It's part of my consulting practice when I go to cities and municipalities across the United States. In my mind, this was a crime against the citizens of Shreveport, and that's what I would definitely do different than Mayor Glover.
Robert Slack.
Yes, sir. As far as the Barnwell Center, sir, to be honest, I don't know anything about the Broadmoor Center. But once I get my foot in it, I'm going to surround myself with educated politicians that know what they're doing. And like TD would say on the end of his sermon, get ready, get ready, get ready. So we will be surrounded by some educated politicians. So get ready for a brand new Shreveport.
We have a few quick questions from Ken Kreft before we go to the closing statement. Mr. Williams, I think it's your turn. If you were not a candidate, who would you support? That's question number one. Question number two, if you are elected, would you seek another 4-year term?
All right, if I wasn't elected, I support Mayor Slack. Actually, yes, I'll seek another for office, but another 4 years. But my service would determine that. If I'm providing what the citizens need, that's what will actually direct my next position. So to just get in this, I'm not in here to, it's not a bucket list item for me, Mr. Husband. This is not anything that I'm doing because I want to pack my resume. But I'm doing this because I love this city. I love the people of this city. And so my service will determine my next 4 years. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Sure. If you were not a candidate, who would you support, Mayor? That's the first part. The second part is, if you are elected, will you seek a second 4-year term?
Well, I don't drink alcohol, I've never smoked, I've never tried drugs, I have a 28-year perfect driving record. Perfect record, period. So Melvin's like, I guess I'd have to try it out. If it'll help get the children educated to a trained skill so that they're not hanging out in corners for people to take care of bad things with them, maybe that's not a bad thing. But, of course, I'm not for legalized drugs. But, yes, I would have a second term. Unlike most of the mayors that have taken the money from the good old boys, they take the second term to do what they really want because it doesn't matter, they don't need money anymore. Since I'm not taking any money the first term, I'm going to change Shreveport the first term, and I'll make you proud. I'm also a hard worker, and I've also been here 50 years. I know where the bones are buried. Thank you.
If I was not a candidate, I'd probably do what you're doing tonight, and that's come out and listen a little bit more to what these candidates have to say. I am honored to be among the candidates that are running for mayor. I am impressed with a number of these candidates, I'll be honest with you, just based on what I have been able to hear them say about the issues that are involved. If I am elected, a second term will be something subject to the same considerations I gave for this first term, which is a lot of thought and a lot of prayer. And of course, where certain projects may be, the status of those projects may be at the end of my first 4 years.
And I agree. If I were not a candidate, I would seriously be looking at each candidate and what their ethical background is, and if they have a moral compass to deliver us out of the mess that we found ourselves in. So I ask you to not only investigate me, investigate all the candidates, explore our websites, what we have to offer, and see if that is what you feel is the best fit for the city. Because I have always said that money influences, but people walk into the polls on November 4th and vote. We can reclaim our democracy if all of the voters on our voter file would do that. I absolutely will serve a second term. I'm very vibrant, if you can tell. I have a lot of energy. I'm up at 6 a.m. I don't go to bed till after midnight. And absolutely, I have incremental changes, but I have a long-range plan. It's going to take 2 terms to get accomplished what I'd like to do. Thank you, Shreveport.
If I was the mayor, who would I choose? Now, ladies, don't take this in the wrong way. I'm not a male chauvinist, but I do believe the Bible says that a male should be the head of every household. So I would go for a man first of all. And it will be tight between Sam Jenkins and Brother Patrick Reed. Be real tight, but Patrick from the hood, so I'm from the hood. But most likely be Patrick Reed. But for the second term, if I can offer myself for just a second, God showed me a vision and a dream that I will be doing 2 terms here in Shreveport Rivera. And once I finish at Shreveport Rivera, believe it or not, we head to the White House. Thank you.
If I was not running for the mayor of our city, I would certainly look at the record of performance of every one of the other candidates. And I think that we have some great candidates that are offering themselves up for service. I would check for integrity, I would check for performance, and I would check for experience. And I would check to see if the candidates had a proven record of being able to manage and lead an organization as large as our city, has a proven record of being able to manage a large budget and be able to unite people around a vision and do it with honesty and with fairness and with integrity.
Thank you. One quick question from Ken. Saints of the Cowboys this Sunday. You lead.
Well, I have to be careful because my 28-year Air Force career, 26 of it, he coached for NFL Europe, and he's very good at football. He's taught me something about sports in the last 16 years we've been together. But Cowboys aren't doing good this year, according to my Dave. And the Saints are Louisiana, so pro Louisiana, go Saints.
You know, I support the Saints 15 weeks out of the football season. The only time out there is when they're playing a game like they're playing this weekend. So, figure that one out.
Okay, well, I'm gonna have to honor my dad with this question. We used to go to all the Cowboys games when they were in the Cotton Bowl, if you remember that far back. And my dad left me asleep on one of the bleachers, got out to the car, and my mom said, my name was Vicky back then, "Where's Vicky?" They went, "Oh my God," they ran back in the stadium to get me. But he turned on the Cowboys because he was so mad at the way the organization lost their image. So it's really very applicable to what we're looking at now as mayor. And I called him one time from the Denver Broncos Mile High Stadium and said, "Dad, you won't believe what I'm doing." He said, "What?" And I said, "I'm cheering against the Cowboys." And he was like, "Yay!" So anyway, what I hope to bring to Shreveport is a resiliency that the Saints represent. So woohoo, go get them Saints on Sunday. Thank you.
I think I kind of missed the question, but I did hit the Saints.
Are you for the Saints or the Cowboys this Sunday?
Oh wow, that's not even a question. First of all, I support everything in the booth, whether you LSU, GSU, Loyola, Southern, I support everything in the booth. But who that talking about they gonna beat them Saints? Who that talking about gonna beat them Saints?
Is that I will be supporting the Saints regardless of who they play. We are Louisianians, and in that vein, we should and must, I believe, support people in our state. I know way back when people used to support the Dallas Cowboys because we are more connected to Dallas than we are to New Orleans. But I often say to my friends, if you live in Louisiana and you love Louisiana, you need to support the people and all of the activities in Louisiana. And that's how I feel about Shreveport. Whatever we have in Shreveport, we need to support Shreveport.
Well, I love the way that Sam put his answer. So I know my wife is a diehard Saints fan, but I grew up as a Cowboy fan. So I'm going to be supporting the Cowboys. Thank you.
All right. Before we move to the closing statements, let's give a big hand to all of the candidates. They have been to lots of forums and have had all kinds of tough questions and silly questions. And they've gotten both to tonight. I know that it's not easy to run for mayor. You open yourself up to a lot of questions that you never gave any thought to before. So we congratulate all of them for participating in the campaign. Closing statements are 2 minutes long, and we'll start with this end with Patrick Williams.
Okay. Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me out. Mayor Hussey, thank you for moderating this. I admire your administration, and that's what I plan on doing, actually paddling my administration out to you. I really do. Thank you again for this opportunity. Listen, I said it earlier, and I love the city. I love the people. Shreveport is in a position that it could grow. It easily, with the natural resources that we have. But it's about leadership. It's about bringing good-paying jobs to the city. And that's an easy thing to do, but it's about leadership. We have I-49, we have I-20, we're a transportation hub. Bentler still is here. It's about going out and getting those jobs so I can bring your kids back home. It's about jobs here. And jobs, the good-paying jobs, they want to come to Shreveport. But it's about leadership. Listen, this is not a bucket item, this is for me. I'm not trying to build my resume. After my administration ends, I still have to work here. And that's what I look forward to doing, working here. Look, I'm old enough to know what needs to be done, and I'm young enough to make sure that it gets done. It's going to take a lot of energy and take a lot of vigor. Getting up early and staying late, as I said earlier. I love this city, and it's about going back to the basics. That's what I'm going to do first. And I ask again, I'm Patrick Williams, and on November 4th, I ask for your vote on 100, number 100 on your ballot. Thank you very much.
I think it's all right to give my hand.
In closing, I'd like to also thank Broadmoor Neighborhood Association and their hussy for allowing me the opportunity to be here this evening just to speak to this great audience. I want you to know that I will, as mayor of the city, unite this city around the vision that I've articulated. I also want to just go back and say, I didn't answer the second part of your question, so briefly I want to do that. If I serve my first 4 years as the mayor and I'm able to accomplish all of those things together that we can get done, and I promise you we will get some things done, and the citizens of this great city decide that they want me to serve again, I will be ready to serve. I also want to say that included in my vision, we will address the issues in this city. We will establish great opportunities for people to want to come back here and relocate. We'll grow businesses. We will attract large businesses. We will also, again, go back to what I stated earlier about Shreveport on the Bayou. We're going to develop that project because I think that waterfront that we have is so significant. It can be used as an engine to revitalize what we're doing, not only downtown, but throughout our city. It will attract people because we are going to make it residential entertainment. We're going to make it, we're going to have the shops there. We're going to be able to have restaurants there. It's going to be, I think, a masterpiece of a showcase for us in this city. And also, I want to make it clear that I am my own candidate. And I will work diligently for the citizens in this Shreveport. And I have a record that demonstrates that I have done it and done it correctly. I was inducted into the Business Hall of Fame because of my business experience in 2006. Vote for me, number 99.
In closing, and in addition to the other candidates, my name is Melvin Gerard Slack Jr. and my ballot number is number 98. And if you add that 9 and 8, you get the number 17. If you add that 1 and 7, you get the number 8. And number 8 theologically is the number of a new beginning. So this will be a new beginning for the city of Shreveport. But God has showed me a great vision for the city of Shreveport. And I can't share it all at one time. And no, I'm not an educated politician. I'm not a Democrat, nor am I a Republican. But I am called and sent by God. And whatever God tells me to do is what I will do. So whether people believe that God has called me to be mayor or not, that's their decision. But we're going to let God have the last decision. And just like you talked about the Saints, once we actually win this race as mayor, just like they do in New Orleans, we're going to have a Mardi Gras party right down there on Texas Street for Shreveport new mayor, ballot number 98. Thank you.
Well, I would like to thank the Broadmoor Association and the Captain Shreve Neighborhood Association. I'm sorry I missed your fish fry the other night, but we had our interfaith forum that we all had to attend. I am Victoria Provenza, number 97. Think of Shreveport like heaven. I don't know, I gotta come up with a better slogan. Just remember Victoria when you go to the polls on November 4th. I will bring a new vibrancy and deliver Shreveport into a 21st century economy. It's extremely important that you have a leader that has this experience, not only nationally, but globally, in making this happen. I could have left Shreveport for that really nice, cushy six-figure income and gone back to my previous lifestyle, but I chose to stay here and dedicate my life as a life of service to this city and our citizens so that Shreveport can become the vibrant and prosperous city that it has always been meant to be. I can't tell you in 2 minutes what I'm going to do, so I'm asking you to come to my webpage because we have a plan, not 100 days after we're elected, but before November 4th, to show you what we can do. We're bringing in some of my favorite clients to show you what we've been able to achieve in their cities. We're bringing in some of the national and international experts on economic development to show that there are other tools that we can use to make Shreveport compete globally in a 21st century economy. So please, I appreciate your support. My name's Victoria Provenza. On November 4th, I would love to have your vote. Thank you.
Let me also thank the organizers of this event tonight, and thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules to be here tonight. When I look at you, I realize that you are very much concerned about the city. I am concerned about the city also. I believe the city has a very good foundation, but there are some things that we can do better, and we must begin to build upon that foundation. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a very pivotal time for the city of Shreveport. Think about what happens the day after inauguration. You do not have an incumbent mayor that's going to step into office, know where things are, and be able to move the city forward. I've been involved in local government for 8 years, working for the people. Your council member represents the voice of the people in city government. We don't work for the mayor. We're not city employees. We represent you. That's what I've been doing the last 8 years, representing the voices of the people in city government. I think that at this particular pivotal time, there are no substitutes for some experience in local government and a practical vision to move the city forward. I've shared part of that vision with you earlier today. I will not repeat it, but it is called Build a Better Shreveport, where we're going to focus on our local economy, we're going to make our neighborhoods safe and clean, and we're going to have a city hall that's responsive to you when you call and when you have ideas that you want to share with us. Please think about Sam Jenkins, number 96 on your ballot, to be the next mayor of the city of Shreveport. I want to go to work for you. Thank you very much.
I'm Anna Marie Arpino, and I'm running for mayor. For a particular reason, we deal with these experts they want to bring in. Let me just give you what the experts have cost you in the last 14 months for their studies and their $300,000, $1 million, $200,000, $100,000, $400,000, and $200,000. A lot of money. People don't live here, don't know anything about our city. I've been here 50 years, and I'm sure a lot of you have been here that long and longer. We know what we need. We don't pay you to pay all those experts to come in here and tell us. I don't have children or grandchildren. It's my job to get this town back in shape. We're using the resources that we have for your children and your grandchildren. And while you're playing with your grandchildren and your children, enjoy. I've been working hard because I got a long ways to go to get Shreveport back to where it is. Look around the room, you'll see nothing that says Arpino for all these expensive signs and things. And believe me, I've turned down a whole lot of money to some folks that wanted to back my campaign and realize that's a greedy accountant telling you that. Okay? I did that for a reason, for you. I backing these different candidates. These are some fine folks. But I don't want the people backing them being back in office and running my city anymore. I've seen where they've run it, where they have run it to now, and it didn't take long. As I said earlier, we need water and sewer. Before I was 23 years old, I did $220 million worth of water and sewer in this town before I was 23. Yes, I can handle large capital projects. Some of my smaller ones, 220, is Green Acres Place, Golden Meadows, Elder Road Estates, which is where I bought my first house at 19. We need I-49. It'll make Shreveport the largest economic development, 600 million. It'll make us the largest diversified distribution in 600-mile radius. Thank you.
I believe that wraps it up. Thank all of you for coming. And thank all the candidates again.
I want to thank Mayor John Hussey for being our moderator. I know Pat. You did volunteer, right? Okay. It's okay to have volunteers, especially if you got 14 on the field in the end zone against LSU at the end of the game. Thank you for coming. We hope to see some of you in 3 weeks and in 4 weeks. And remember, if you want to run for president, let me know. We need somebody. We have a volunteer who will do it.